Hi, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for tuning in today. As you can see, I have a short block here, no accessories on it whatsoever. I'm just reassembling this engine and I have it to this point now. Very important, one of the steps in the quality control process is to make sure that there's no leaks in this. So where can it leak? It can leak from the head gaskets, the base gaskets, the crankshaft seals, or the joint in the crankcase. Well, I have to prove that it's right and there's no leakage in it whatsoever. So I'll be using these plates. They're just some aluminum. I used the gasket on top to get the centers and drilled them out. And the rubber that's on it is a piece of a tire tube. The same with the intake plates. They've been mark centered with the gasket and drilled. And again, rubber on the inside. Now to cover up the, close up the spark plug holes, just use the spark plugs. I just use a used set and with the gasket crushed down nicely in them. And then I'll be using this tool. It'll either make pressure or vacuum. So we're going to start with the pressure part on this. So let me get this all dressed up and we'll actually do the test and see what the result is. Before I put the plates on and cover this up, so that I know for sure that I have the maximum pressure in each cylinder, what I'm going to do is I want to get this one, I don't know if you can see it, the PTO piston is all the way down and the mag piston is all the way up. That means that the transfer ports from the crankcase to the cylinder are exposed. So the pressure that I put in here can get up to the top above the piston. And of course, it'll check the head gasket and, well, in the spark plugs as well to make sure my tool is sealed properly. So what I'm going to do now is that it's in that position. So I'm going to do this as, so PTO, so I'm going to mark, I just mark on here, I just put number 1 and I go PTO down. And then I'll do the same thing after because I'll be moving this after or rotating it. I'm going to do the same kind of a deal here where now the mag piston is all the way down and now the PTO piston of course is all the way up. So I'll mark it here again and I'm going to put this, that this will be the mag is all the way down and mark it as position number 2. It's just easier for me so I don't get mixed up. Okay, so my prep is done. So now I'm going to put all the plates on. Apparently that one doesn't fit on that side, it goes on this side. All right. Now I use the little gun, but I want to make sure that I don't over tighten them. So if you're going to do this, do it by hand. What I'm going to do is just bottom this out, go to the other corner and bottom it out, and the other corner. And just give them a little touch, just a little rattle there. They don't have to be super tight, they just have to keep the rubber from potentially leaking. All right. Intake side. Now the reason these say up on them, they'll fit either way, but as you can see, after a while, they get the impression of the port on it. I just wanted to keep it the same all the time. And again, just snug them down evenly. Now I started the spark plugs, as you saw, by hand, because that's the only way to start a spark plug. And I only used the little gun to run them in. I didn't tighten them up at all. So I'm just going to snug them up with the by hand. All right, there. So now what do we have? Exhaust, both ports are plugged up. Both intake ports are covered up. Spark plug holes are all full. So the engine is sealed up. So now let's put our tool on here to pressurize it. So this is the pulse port, and I have the tool set for pressure. And because it is quite a volume in there, you get to squeeze it for a little while. You know, you might be tempted to try and use like an air blower or something. No, it's not worth it, because I only want 5 pounds in there, and that's it. So slowly but surely we get up to 5 pounds. Well, we're getting close. 4 pounds. All right. And up to, come on. There we go. Okay, so let me zoom in on this here. Whoops. Okay. Well, let me go this way. There we go. Well, we're at 5. Here, I can make it right at 5 for your viewing pleasure when I get right lined up with it. Okay, we're going to wait 5 minutes and go from there. Now, what would I do if it had lost pressure? Then I would get some soapy water, the same way you would check for a leak in a car tire. And the first thing I do is spritz it around the spark plugs, around behind these plates, and around those plates to see that maybe my tool leaks. If I don't find anything there, then I want to spritz it all around all the gaskets, the sealing surfaces, the crank seals, everywhere. And because it just cannot leak for me, period. And it's got to hold. I mean, I should be able to leave this thing until tomorrow, and it'll still have 5 pounds in it. That's what I want. I want it sealed up completely and perfect. Now, remember, I made the marks on the crankshaft. So right now it says that the mag piston is down. So in other words, this one is down and all of the transfer ports are open. So there's all the pressure and volume in here to test the cylinder head gasket, and of course around there. Now, does it get some pressure on this side? Absolutely. But this is the real deal to actually open the ports. So I'm going to rotate the engine now, and I have to do it slowly because it's got compression and it can't suck any air in. Okay, so now, where am I now? The PTO piston is down, which means that this side is exposed more to the volume and flow of the pressure. So again, now it's at 5 pounds still. So let's leave it just to make sure. So we've totally proved out this head gasket, and now we're going to totally prove out this head gasket. So our 5 minutes is expired. It's still at exactly 5 pounds pressure. So I know then that the first round, we had the mag cylinder down, the piston down, which exposed all the ports, remember? So a lot of volume, pressure and volume could go from the crankcase up above the piston where it's exposed to the cylinder head gasket. And then in the secondary test now, I've rotated it 180 degrees. So now the mag piston is down at bottom dead center, and the same deal again. The pressure and the volume in the crankcase is exposed now to above the piston. The pressure is always there, yes, but the volume, no. So this is why it's better to do it this way. And like I said, I still have my 5 pounds pressure, so that part of it, perfect. I'm really happy with that. So I just released all the pressure, and now it's just sitting at 0. I'm going to make my switch over to vacuum, and I'm going to draw 5 pounds vacuum into it now. This is a little quicker on the vacuum side than the pressure side, and I'm getting close. All right, well, it's a little harder to see that with the angle on that, but that's right at 5 inches of vacuum. And again, I'll do the same thing again. I'll right now, this cylinder, the piston is at the bottom, so it's exposed to more flow should there be a leak in the head gasket on the PTO cylinder right now. So I'll give it 5 minutes, and then I'll do the same thing. I'll rotate it around, rotate the engine again 180 degrees. Okay, our 5 minutes has expired on that one. That cylinder with the PTO piston at the bottom. So now I'm going to turn the crankshaft 180 degrees and get the mag cylinder to the bottom. And if you remember, that's going to expose the transfer ports, and it's going to let it have more volume of potential vacuum up in the top end. So there we go. I'm in the right position there. And yes, I'm at 5 pounds of 5 inches, I should say, of vacuum. So come back in 5 minutes and see where we're at. So the time has elapsed to 5 minutes. We're still at exactly 5 inches of vacuum. Perfect. So no issues whatsoever. And on this test, the mag piston was down at the bottom dead center, exposing the transfer ports, remember, because the pressure is one thing, but the flow is another. So I've exposed the head gasket and the spark plug seals, sealing washers to more potential volume. No leakage, perfect. That's what we want to see. So as you can see, I've got the pressure test kit all removed from the engine now. Both of those boxes on my engine build sheet are checked off for pass the pressure test, yes. Pass the vacuum test, yes. So there we go. 0 leakage is the only thing that I will accept. I think I may have mentioned before that if I left 5 pounds pressure on this, I should be able to come back tomorrow morning and it still has 5 pounds on it. So for me, 0 leakage is the only number that I'm looking for. Nothing else is acceptable. Thanks so much for your time you spent with me today. Thanks for tuning in again, of course. Like, share, subscribe. See you again. Bye now.